Now, straight into our conversation for today. Today, like I said, the EC has indicated that they're embarking on limited voters registration exercise. They're targeting 623 new voters, 623,000 new voters, and they're hoping to get them on the list. It's going to be a 21-day exercise, again, for persons who have turned 18 and others who have not previously registered to vote, and is expected to be carried out in 1,053 registration centers, and that's made up of 268 district offices of the Electoral Commission and 785 additional centers in hard-to-reach areas agreed on with the political parties. It's expected to start today. There'll be some mobile officers as well who'll be going around to register those who cannot access any of these centers. And there was a press briefing that was held yesterday where the EC Chair Jean Mensah addressed the public. And so some concerns have been raised on that. Of course, we're asking you as well, if you're one of those who has not been able to register, you're yet to register, what exactly are you expecting? You need to have your Ghana card or your passport to be able to register. Otherwise, you need a guarantor, in fact, two guarantors who are already registered onto the voters register to go with you to verify that indeed you are Ghanaian, you've turned 18 and you are eligible to vote. Now, all guarantors should know that you can only guarantee for just 10 people. If you go beyond that, you're breaking the law and you will be dealt with as the law demands. In the studio this morning to help us with this conversation, we have Awal Mohammed, the Public Relations Officer of the Youth Employment Agency. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good to see you this week.
Good to see you.
So far, so good?
So far, so very good.
No doom so.
Yes.
No doom so.
Yes, because
okay.
when you check where I live for the last 3 days, I think I've seen some stable.
Oh, good for you.
Yes,
I can't say same for some areas, but I hope that they are fixing it. Ambassador Sampi Yali is in the studio with us. He's already shaking his head. And well, he's former Ghana ambassador to India. He joins us in the studio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good to meet you and finally host you on the show.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
But let me add my voice to the many who have congratulated you on your wonderful representation of Ghana outside.
Thank you.
Outside this country. I mean, I was very happy. I wasn't seeing you on the screen for some time, so I called Errol and I said, you are outside. But I must congratulate you.
Oh, very kind of you.
But you are doing so well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And good to have you in the studios.
Thank you.
As well. Well, let's quickly listen to what Madame Jean Mensah had to say yesterday before we get into our conversation.
The registration, which will be for 21 days, will be undertaken in all 268 district offices of the Electoral Commission across the country. Additionally, the Commission, in collaboration with its stakeholders, including the political parties, has identified 785 unwieldy electoral areas where registration will take place. These refer to riverine areas and communities which find it difficult to access our district offices as a result of distance. We have also selected 25 public universities where registration will take place. The 25 universities have been chosen due to the fact that they have a high number of persons on the campus who are resident on the campus. Only Ghanaians 18 years and above who are of sound mind and who have not previously registered can register to vote. Eligible voters must be resident or ordinarily resident in the district where they intend to vote. The documents required for registration are either the Ghana passport or the Ghana card, that is the national identification card issued by the National Identification Authority. Voters, eligible voters who do not possess any of the above documents are required by law to visit the district officers in the district where they reside with two guarantors. And these two guarantors must be persons who are already registered voters to vouch for their citizenship.
All right, and some details regarding the limited voters registration exercise today. If you're just turning 18, if you've not had the chance to get your name into the register, today is your opportunity. In fact, it's 7:33. We're told it starts at 7 a.m. and it will close after 5 p.m. And so if you have the opportunity, please go ahead, locate your district office or any of the 785 centers. Or if you're at the university, 25 public universities have their centers also up by this time. Please go ahead and get registered. Oh, wow. Again, of course, you're the PRO for the Youth Employment Agency, so I can just imagine how you deal with young people on a regular basis. This is certainly good news for all those who cannot or have just turned 18 and have not registered yet.
Thank you so much. That's true. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Let me take this opportunity to say good morning to our flag bearer, Dr. Alaji Baomia, who is starting the campaign today in the Ahafo region. He is starting based in Ahafo region, and tomorrow he will be in Bono region. And he is not doing the ordinary campaign that we all know, that you have a lot of people gathering for a big rally, moving people from different locations within constituencies or regions to come and meet him. He starts with meeting the clergy, the imams, then the traditional rulers. Then he will meet the traders association. Then he will go into the market and some few other places to do house to house. Okay. Then he will come and do the youth connect, where he will stand at a podium and the youth will ask him any question for him to answer.
Oh, when is that happening?
Today, in Ahafo, yes.
Okay.
He started in the eastern region and he moved to Greater Accra, where he didn't do the Youth Connect because Accra was just a brief passing. He went to the western region, did same. He went to Sehiosu and did same. So one constituency within the region or two, then he does that. So
when is he meeting the media, by the way? So we can also ask him questions.
I do not have that itinerary, but I know that definitely it will happen, since he is even opening himself up for any Ghanaian to ask him any question, especially the youth. So he will do that with the media as well. The key takeaway is that he's saying that President Akufo-Addo has implemented free senior high school. He is starting the free tertiary institution with people living with disabilities. So if you complete the free senior high school and you are one of the people who live with disabilities, you get to university or any tertiary institution and complete for free.
I see.
And that is how he is starting.
And we have money for that. We already know where we're going to get money.
Yes, because he will use the scholarship secretariat and give free scholarships to all of them, 100%, the tuition and the accommodation and everything. Okay. So if you check the number of people living with disabilities compared to free senior high school, which has at least 5.8 million people benefiting, you could tell that this is just a drop in the ocean. So definitely it's practicable and it's doable. Okay. So these are the things that the Vice President, among other things, that he is promising the people of this country. Yes, I think this is good news. I have always maintained that the youth do not really necessarily have political parties, especially when they are 18, 19, 20. What they need is someone who will give them opportunities. So some of us, especially in the MPP, we are extremely happy that these people are being captured from today, and will encourage every youth to make sure that he gets himself captured. There are a lot of issues that have been raised by a lot of stakeholders. These are genuine issues that you can raise if you're a stakeholder.
Which ones have you come across?
I have heard that they are saying that there are areas that they feel that especially the NDC, when they said that they sense some bias, especially some areas that are their stronghold. They do not have a lot of the centers and so on. These are issues that they can raise, but I believe that this is not elections. This is registration. The most important thing is that after registration, I mentioned that the youth do not necessarily have political parties, especially now that they can read and write. The literacy level is now very high in this country. So definitely the youth should be able to really listen to you first before they vote for you. Now, social media has really given us opportunity to even connect with them. If they don't even watch this TV this morning, they are on social media watching and they're commenting and asking questions and so on. So when I think the EC chair was clear yesterday that indeed the selection of the areas that they will do it is in concert with all the stakeholders, including the political parties.
So why is the NDC, for example, complaining about?
In 2023, when they were doing the limited registration for the district level elections, they still complained and even went to Supreme Court to even put injunction on it, saying that it's unfair, some people will be disenfranchised and so on. At the end of the exercise, they were able to hit their target. But initially, NDC said they will not be able to hit their target. They came with some conspiracy theory saying that when you get to the Volta region, people are not expected to register, but in Ashanti region, they have open places for people to register. Not knowing that when you check the number of votes they got in Ashanti region, it's even more than what they got in the Volta region. So it is not necessarily true that if people are given opportunity to register more in Ashanti region, and this MPP will benefit more The last elections, NDC had 652,000 votes in Ashanti region against 610,000 votes in the Volta region. So if a lot of people are given opportunity to register, it means you have the chance to convince them to vote for you. Registration does not necessarily mean the person will vote for you.
But the law also enjoins that you make it accessible when it's time for registration for all these people who live in these communities so that they can get their names on the register.
That's why they are saying that they have added additional 700 and something thousand areas where it is hard to reach areas. For instance, in my constituency, in the Asawase constituency, you don't necessarily need to even open more than one center because the entire constituency is not more than 10 kilometers. So people can even commute from anywhere to the center and come and register. You understand? But if you go to a place like Sechirafran Plains within Ashanti region, there are areas that you will have to move from Drobonso. Well, if you're coming to the district capital, you move from Atebubu through to Ejra to Asante Mampong before you can even get to the district capital. There are areas that you have to pass through Eastern region. You pass through Donkokrum before you get to that constituency, but it's within Ashanti region. So areas like this, you do about 3 or 4 centers that will help. And you get a lot of people captured because no one, especially now that we are the voter registration card is not a primary document for any transaction in this country. A lot of people will not even come and register voluntarily if they don't have any interest in elections. It's the reason you see a lot of people, especially the political parties, moving around to whip up the enthusiasm, buzz people. I don't see anything wrong with helping people to come to the centers because it doesn't mean that the person will automatically vote for you. The most important thing is that it is the minors that we don't want registered on the roll and foreigners because they say 18 and above. We know that majority of the people they will want to capture are the people who have turned 18 because in 2023 they did the same registration. So 18, 19 are the majority. But for instance, my junior brothers just returned from Europe and they will register. So for them, they are above 18, but the last time they didn't register. So they can register with their passports to show that indeed they were outside the country. Because one of the qualifications, if you are above 18 or 19 or 20, is that you have to show the reason why you did not really register previously so that they will know whether you are a Ghanaian or you're not a Ghanaian.
But busing people is where also the NDC raises concerns because they are also suspecting that in doing so, the NPP MPs could bring in other people from other constituencies to come and register and have their names on the registration list. And that also causes a lot of problems. So
you see, these are issues that the NDC will always raise. I remember when we were doing the registration in Ashanti, in my constituency, that is the Sawasi constituency, they even said they would not allow students from Kumasi Academy come and register. These are people who live there because they said ordinary resident there. That is, then you are qualified to even register. They said they will not allow because they know that almost all the semi-tertiary, the tertiary institutions, it's a stronghold of the MPP. They don't have these votes. So, busing people to centers, you have your polling agents there. There are polling agents who will stand there. The primary reason a polling agent will stand there is to identify the people and know this person is from the constituency or not. When you go to registration centers, it's not only one polling agent that you see there. We have a lot of people. MPP will go with a lot of people. All our constituency executives are there. They also live within the constituency. If they see someone who is not a resident there, they challenge him. You pick a challenge form. You don't necessarily have to make any noise. When you know that the MP is moving someone from somewhere to come and register within your constituency, you don't make any noise. You don't do anything. The person after registering, you challenge the person. When you challenge the person will not be given the card. There will be a panel later to sit down to determine whether the person deserves the card or not. Just like you challenge the minor, you challenge the person who is not a Ghanaian. You don't prevent the person from registering, but you challenge the person from doing that. I remember an incident that happened. One of the guys who is a Zabaraba by tribe was the NDC candidate in their constituency. That's the Asawasi constituency, when he prevented one Ashanti Akan person from Kumasi Academy, a student from Kumasi, he challenged him. After the challenge, we went to the panel. After everything, we went to the panel. It was that Askwari Mampong. He was the chair of that panel. So he asked him, "Why do you think he's not from here?" So they don't know his house. They don't know where he sits. They look at him and said, "Oh, so free." DJ catch me dishes so free her. Because you see, this is someone who is an Ashanti person who lives within the constituency. He lives in the Asokore Mampong Kumasi Academy, which qualifies to him to be there because he's an ordinary resident. For instance, I live in Ofanko. My wife can choose to register within Ofanko because we live there. You understand? So if tomorrow someone will come and see my wife and say, "No, we don't know her here," challenge it. Then she proves where she lives. Then the panel will sit down, look at both cases and see that whether you are right to have challenged. Then they give the card to the person or reject the card. That's very important. So the most important thing is that I am not against moving people from far away to come and register because, as I said, initially people have really the incentive to come and register because they think that if they are accessing bank, they need the voter register. If they are accessing anything in this country. Now we have a primary document which is the Ghana card. So you don't need that. You need it for only elections. So someone who is not interested in elections may not necessarily angle to come and just do it. So if we are to aid the person, the NDC does it almost all the time. We live with them in the communities. They also move people that they suspect are theirs. But we will move everyone. Whoever is ready, if the bus is ready and it's coming to the registration center, we'll pull them along because we know that the youth have seen the good things this government have done. The youth has seen, they resonate with Dr. Bawumia looking at the things Dr. Bawumia is proposing. 1 million people to be trained in software and IT within the next 4 years if Dr. Bawumia is elected. The beneficiaries are the youth.
Let me bring in Ambassador so he can also speak on this because Ambassador, the NDC has raised a lot of concerns about this limited voters registration exercise. What exactly are your challenges?
It's always exciting paneling with Awa because his NDC roots give him out.
They always do it.
His NDC roots gives him out very easily.
You never let him go.
No.
As a former NDC
once
member.
our son is always going to be our son. Bella, yesterday, all the major newspapers reported about a metaphysical policy of Dr. Bawumia promising our unfortunate brothers and sisters disabled. Well, you are an avid reader. Okay, so you do me a favor.
Okay.
I have cycled.
Please help me.
Something.
Okay, this document is Jobs and Prosperity for All, the manifesto, the NDC's People's Manifesto, ahead of the 2020 elections. Yes, okay. So, you want me to read T?
Yeah, the one I have used pen.
Okay, tertiary education. T says, provide free tertiary education for persons with disabilities. Is that all you want me to read?
I'll give you more to read.
Okay, all right.
I just want you to place it on public record. Then you come to the youth, the 1 million coders. You also find that in our manifesto. This brings to 11 policies that have been adopted, abducted, or to use my Takrady language, stolen from the NDC manifesto.
By the NPP?
By the NPP. And if you don't take care, they go word by word. We spoke of the 1 million coders. We spoke of the this one, the disabled persons, and I think you have read it.
I've seen it.
And now that I know you are back, I will send to you our research of all the policies they are bringing out. So this should finally put to rest the unfaithful rendition that the NDC does not have policies. or the NDC does not bring policies. I think when people talk about policies, they think about slogans. What NDC does not have is we don't enjoy slogans. But at least if we had time, I would have given you all the 11 policies, solid policies for the youth, for agriculture and other things that are being, this morning he has also repeated that the most wonderful thing is that they are going to give the disabled.
Yeah.
Do you understand, Fanti?
Yes.
My essay, you understand?
Yeah.
So, well, take the pitch. When you go,
I'll respond to it.
Yes.
So that when that gets made, unfortunately.
So, that is where we are. So, from today, nobody should be allowed to say that the NDC does not have policies, because we have more than abundant policies in this document. And I'm saying that the opportunity cost for a crashed economy, okay, the opportunity cost for a country shut out from the capital market, the opportunity cost for bank closures and massive unemployment, the opportunity cost for big organizations now flying out of this country is the NDC manifesto we didn't take up. Because that book, if you read it, it has the solution to most of the problems that we are having now. It talks about having a digitally functional economy. So somebody call it, how do you call it? Digitalization.
Yes, which we are implementing.
And if you go to that, it talks about how the infrastructure you need, which we had put in place anyway, to implement any automation or digital platforms. We spoke about fintechs. So everything in this book talks about what they want to say. Okay. So as for us, we are relaxed because we have gone through thinking processes to establish what we thought was a very good people's manifesto. Okay. But only that either we couldn't explain well or whatever. The second issue my nephew has raised is the NDC always criticizing the EC. Fortunately, we have not used unprinted words on the woman, have we? Have we?
Yeah, you said you called you called someone bloody widow.
I'm talking about the electoral commission.
Chair.
That's okay.
I'm talking about the EC chair. We have not insulted her. We have not said, excuse my language this morning, it's too early, that she's been sleeping around and all those things that you don't say even to a 14-year-old girl. We have not said that. You've heard your brother Imani talk about procurement and other
and we'll be coming to that.
Serious crimes against the EC. What was Charlotte said dismissed for? Procurement allegations by persons who, as of now, are not identifiable. All right? So when you live in glass house, you don't throw stones. Because some of us have gathered blocks to throw at you. So, don't go saying that the NDC is always criticizing. You know for a fact that before the registration and election, there was very serious attempt or actions to prohibit the voter region, people from the voter region. It started with a village in Togo, very known village, and that was one of our strongholds. A few days before the election, the village got burnt. And for some strange reasons, our national mobilization had to transport blankets and net across the country to the people of Togo. We also have lived it to see the fabricated story of persons trying to secede the secessionist movement. After the election, those things have never happened. If you go to Atimpoku, you know Atimpoku, Akosombo.
Yeah.
Today, as we sit here, Bella, there are some soldiers stationed on the bridge. Since that time, the soldiers have been stationed on the bridge. We are feeding them. We are paying them for sitting on the bridge. What was it for? Those days, they had to stop a bus and speak. If your accent is a little suspicious, they say you are a Togolese. You can't register. We have gone through this. We have gone through a situation where, sometimes when you are citing certain examples, be careful about a chief in Ashanti, who says that, who made this year, and is that something to that effect? As I sit here, there's a tribe in Ghana who are forcing so hard to be recognized.
Which tribe is this?
The Fulani tribe. They are fighting so hard, and I really sympathize with them because they have stayed here for a long time. If you look at the population census classification, they classify them as other tribes. You understand? So when you are citing example, be careful because sometimes the thing is on your lap. My friend is Adib Sani. Yes, and every time we discuss this injustices being meted against them, So, but if you extend it, it will bring so many ramifications, and we don't want to do that. What we are talking about is that all of us, as practitioners in the space, want to have a trouble-free election. All we are looking for is to have a system of elections where after the elections or during the election, nobody has been cheated or nobody has been killed. Is that not what all of us are looking for?
Yes.
And you and I know that election is a process. Yeah. So for those who think that election is at the polling, we win election on the polling station, at the polling station, they are 30% right, the 70% wrong. Because election is a process. And if you don't monitor the processes, you'll be done in. You see what I mean? So that, for example, if we allow in a certain region more registration machines to be sent as against contemporary regions, for example, if you compare Greater Accra and Ashanti region, you want to see the population patterns and then whatever registration numbers, so that if you are allocating 15 machines to Ashanti region, at least will be 14 for Greater Accra. But if the disparity is big, people can question your motives, right? Now, Awal comes from a region that is very sparsely populated. In certain places, they use Aboboya as ambulances. So if a political party is saying that, please, as for EC, we all pay for your services, isn't it? The Ghana government gives you budget. So the cost of election should not be too exorbitant to discourage a voter. So you should make it possible that the voter, is close to where he's going to vote and register. Have you committed any crime by calling at this? Have you called the EC any names by saying that, please, by citing at the district office, you are not a politician, but I know by now a lot of people would have called you, Bella, send me money so that I can take transport to go and register. Why should you and I bear that cost?
But Ambassador, so the extra 785 centers that have also been dotted across the country to enable people register, is that not enough?
That is if I know where they are. You don't just throw numbers, so you publish where these centers are, so that people, media houses like you, would exhibit it. So that people who this morning are contemplating where to go or not to go can say, oh, I heard Belamundi say that if I go to Abosokai Cluster B, I can be registered. This is the transparency we are looking for and talking about. It's not the numbers that we are going to create 720 polling stations. Where are they? Let us know. Is that not it? In my old days, we said knowledge is power. I think it's still valid, isn't it? When people know what is about them, they are empowered to do what is right. So, electoral commissioner, just do not publish, don't say that we have created 720. Publish them.
Well, that's not the only details that the EC boss has not yet put out. In fact, yesterday there were also some concerns that were raised. And if we can just take a look at what the law says with regards to the returning officers who are appointed by the Electoral Commission, to do the work during the exercise. And the fact that those details are supposed to be out and given to the political parties at least 2 weeks.
14 days.
2 weeks before the exercise begins. Yesterday, the EC chair spoke on this matter, and she said that, there was, a publication. In fact, there was an explanation as to how there was a publication in the papers earlier on asking for people who are interested in acting as returning officers to apply, and that was done. The NDC says that process was not transparent because till date, they don't have details as to exactly what the process was like. Let's quickly take a look at what the law says on that. And the EC chair yesterday said that, they'll give the list to the political party so that they can object to whoever they believe does not or is not fit to play a role as a returning officer. So if you look at the Regulation 8 of CI 91 as amended by CI 126, it says that objection to appointment of registration supervisors and registration officials, the Commission shall make available to interested persons or parties at the district office the names and pictures of persons it proposes to appoint as registration supervisors, registration officers, registration assistants, and any other official for the centers not later than 14 days before they are appointed. A registered political party or any interested person may in writing object to any person proposed for appointment as a registration supervisor, a registration officer, or a registration assistant or any other official within 7 days after the names of the proposed officers have been made available. The objection shall be based on factual and verifiable evidence and be made to the Commission. The Commission shall communicate the decision of the Commission to the parties involved within 7 days after receipt of objection. Ambassador, I'll stay on you for this one just quickly before I bring Awal in, because this is also another concern that was raised yesterday.
There are other many concerns. You see, where a statute stipulates what has to be done, any other performance is unlawful. Where a statute says that, for example, there's a case that has been decided by the Supreme Court only 3 days ago. During the Ghana Bar Association changeover, we wanted to upgrade our system. So between January and February, lawyers were not registered. But lawyers, we go to court because of what we do. So some lawyers had not taken their license. The Supreme Court ruled that we sympathize with you, but we are all servants of the law. And when the law has stipulated that, you cannot do otherwise. Are you following what I'm saying? Now, it was not for nothing that it was made mandatory for the Electoral Commission to publish the names of persons who are going to be appointed as electoral officers. And there, the rendition, as I saw, it didn't say may or will, it said shall. And shall is a mandatory obligation, right? So now you're saying that you are not going to give the list to the political parties. And for once, I saw the NPP yesterday also objecting to it, because that does not create fairness. The electoral commissioner is there by then creating unnecessary animosity between the political party and in the political space. You understand? Because if Sam Pijali is clandestinely appointed as a polling agent, a polling officer, it will raise a lot of suspicion, not so? Because everybody knows my political inclination. So it's for that reason that the framers of that law say that give to them 2 weeks. So the Electoral Commission ab initio is in breach of its own CI that it has been working with. Sometimes they cite these provisions of the CI to protect themselves. But you see, every law is both a shield and a sword. You defend yourself and you protect yourself. So you cannot in one vein say that, oh, that's what the law says, but now I cannot do it better within that. What has the Electoral Commission been doing since last 4 years, after the elections and this assembly elections? What have they been doing? That they cannot publish just the persons who are going to be polling agents, polling officers. They cannot do that. And, in law, circumstantial evidence sometimes lead to one conclusion. Okay, what is the motivation for the EC doing what he's doing? keeping this register from both whatever publication from both the NDC and the MPP. Well, I don't know whether the MPP.
Well, now they say they'll give it to you, and you can still go ahead and object if you're not comfortable with
the persons have started work. Say any objection to change the person is a disruption.
Okay.
Now, my final point is that you see, we just have come from by-election from Kumu, and no mean a person than Hobson Adoye, a recently loud-mouthed NPP person, saying that, look, I have evidence, and he exhibits the evidence, saying that a lot of the polling officials, electoral officers there, are constituency executives from Kumu. And this is a serious indictment against the EC. And it's coming on the heels of a registration exercise. I was thinking that by now, the EC would have said, no, your allegation is wrong, prove it. To date, nobody has called him. Okay. And it's running on social media. You see, so me, I will not insult the electoral commissioner. I will not indict her, but I would urge her to know that her actions or inactions can create a problem. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
All right. Wow. So I'll need you to respond to this because, again, yesterday, there were questions that were raised to both parties that if in those 2 weeks, the list had not been given to the parties, did you also make any effort to write to the EC to find out when they were going to give you the list, just so you are aware?
We did.
Yeah. The NDC, you did?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you do it as a party, NPP?
So, thank you so much. But before that, let me just respond to it. Today, you believe, you trust what Hobson Adoye is telling you, that indeed some people in Kumu are constituency executives who are now working with the EC.
Today, I believe in the message, not the messenger.
I'm coming.
Okay.
You have constituency executives who live within Kumu. You have a candidate. You have branch executives. So they couldn't raise these issues. They do not even know these people. It is only Hobson that will know these people. I'm surprised. Uncle, I'm surprised that you are telling me that Hobson from Pong Katamanso will know the executives in Kumu who are working with EC than the executives that you have there. Then you have useless executives in Kumu. Because if they cannot identify the people, they live with them in Kumu. They live with them in Kumu. You have constituency executives that you elected them from Kumu. You have branch executives. Now, Hobson is raising these issues. You did not cross-check from your branch executives to find out if really these persons that he is mentioning are constituency executives, and you are now flying with it.
Bella,
okay.
Bella, a little point.
That's right. That's one.
Let me just. Before you condemn,
do you want him to respond to
before
it?
You
no. Let me just.
Before you condemn our executive as useless, please take note that NDC did not take part in the elections at Ejusu.
You said
now. Wait a minute. The persons the allegations made was that they have transported executives from Kumawu to Ejusu as polling agent. I was not the one who made that
as polling agent.
Polling officers.
Okay.
Yeah. I was not the one who made that allegation. It could have been Bella or any other person doing the allegation. What next? If the person is making an allegation as criminal like this, what do you do?
Okay, so
I am from Ashanti region.
No.
I'm
saying
from
that
the Kumawu area.
Bella,
but I cannot even tell you I know all the executives.
If somebody makes no, I don't like his donation and
okay. So I'm sorry, Uncle, I'm sorry if really
as a useless
because I'm surprised. I am
would
from.
you take that back because he
I've taken that back. I've taken that back. But I'm
right.
saying that I am from Efiduase. So Kumawu is my enclave. Kumawu, Efiduase. Setra from place, Ejusu, Jabin. But I will not even know all the executives there. How much more? Hobson, who is from Pong Katamanso in Accra,
but what he's saying,
never lived in Ashanti.
But what he's saying
before,
is that he
expected
the EC to at least have responded to this and conducted some investigation.
No, if you're a serious political party, you don't need the EC again. When you hear an allegation, you get to your people down there to find out if there is merit in the allegation the person
and
is
then
holding.
what?
Then you act as a political party that is serious to win elections.
Yeah, but this is also an indictment on the EC. Why have they not made any statement to this?
There is a saying that Ponkwa Bodam and Inura Bodam. Yes. Because Hobson is moving around saying a lot of unprintable words against people. To the extent he said he even was tasked to go and throw bomb in the Volta region. Where did bomb came out in the Volta region?
But
Where did you report as a media that there was a bomb in the Volta region? You expect us to really respond to hoping that he went to the Volta region to throw bombs. When in this country, nobody reported, not even NDC had ever reported that there were bombs that was thrown in the Volta region. So let's leave Hobson out of this thing. He is moving back to his mother party. He joined the MPP in 2007. So he moving back to NDC is not really. I will not return.
You don't intend to return at all?
No.
Okay. You don't miss your former party?
No.
But don't insult us.
So, I'm not insulting you. When Dr. Bawumia in 2018 said that we're moving into the industrial revolution, the fourth industrial revolution, which is anchored on digital. The NDC said he's moving from the economy and he's moving into digital, not knowing that you have smuggled digital economy into your manifesto. I'm surprised. You were bastardizing the man. Even up to today, you're saying that he's running away from the economy, talking about digital. Now you understand that there is digital economy and you have smuggled it into your manifesto, and you're telling me that Dr. Bawumia does not have any license to talk about digital because you have written it in your manifesto in 2020 when this man started talking about it in 2018. That's one. Two is that the MPP do not really implement any policy haphazardly. We started this disability thing in 2006 when President Kufuor passed the act. That is the Disability Act in 2006. Section 18 of the Disability Act is saying that all persons living with disability must be given free education. It's in the Act. He's a lawyer. It's in the Act, Section 18 of the Disability Act.
Why is the Vice President now making that one of the promises?
Yes,
if he becomes president.
Because when it was in the Disability Act that they should be given free education. We started with giving them free senior high school education, which is in our 2016 manifesto, page 125 of the 2016 manifesto. Now we are satisfied that they have all been given this free senior high school education. So we are moving a notch higher by giving them tertiary education. What did you do to them? That's very important. We have started from an act that has been promulgated to giving them free senior high school. Now we are giving them free tertiary institution. This is the time that we feel that it is ripe for us to give them free tertiary education. We are not like the NDC. We remember when we said we will give Northern Development Authority in 2008. It was in our manifesto. You came in and implemented SADA. What happened? It was rife with corruption because you didn't know even how to implement it. So the MPP will start from somewhere, then conclude at a place. That's what we do. Again, I will be happy that the NDC will tell us that these constituencies, for instance, they will say maybe North Tongue constituency, one police station is not enough. You get it? Or two is not enough for the registration. That will sound very well than jamming everything together to say that they are giving unfair treatment to some people within the hinterlands. I mentioned a constituency in Ashanti region. I told you that this constituency, if you don't do more than 3, you disenfranchise a lot of people. I mentioned the Central Front Plains. This is an NDC stronghold. They've won it since 2012 that it has been created. But we will be happy to have all the youth registered.
But Awal, don't you think that would have been right if we had the list? So that, like Ambassador is saying, we can put it out there. Everybody knows that if I go to this
party has a list.
You have the list.
The list of the polling stations that has been added.
When did you receive it?
The things that we did not receive is the names of the electoral officers who will be there. That is what
So when did you receive the list for these polling areas, these registration centers?
I know that because if you check I don't know the date that it was received, but I'm sure that looking at what she said even yesterday, she said the addition of the over 700 was in concert with the political party at IPAC.